I find myself performing as a social media manager for some of the biggest content creators on social media. My biggest client had 12 million followers on TikTok. I did it. I got the clients, I'm performing, I'm making money, I'm building someone else's brand to make a percentage of pretty much 100% of my work. What if I did this for real estate?
Dude, I literally was like, what? There's no way that works. All the big players dump thousands and thousands of dollars into Google ads.
I didn't have a whole lot of capital. In this funnel, the first thing you need is a motivated seller lead. I fully embraced, I'm gonna make organic content to generate motivated seller leads. The same leads that people pay hundreds of dollars for on pay-per-lead sites.
And I've seen some of the posts that blown up.
I posted on Instagram and TikTok. On TikTok, it did like 300,000 views. Currently on Instagram at 1.1 million views. This is also the video that took my business account from a measly 100 followers to now almost 3,000 followers from one video. I'm stopping at a Buc-ee's and I'm grabbing a brisket sandwich out in the Buc-ee's parking lot. Phone rings, hands are full. Dallas Homes for Cash, Nathan speaking. Yes, I'd like to sell my house. And I'm like,
welcome to REI Closers, another podcast episode back at it. We got Nate. How do you pronounce your last name? Just Trillo?
Trillo.
Nate
Make
Trillo.
it easy. My mother will say it's Trillo, but it's Trillo, yeah.
So first of all, we just closed your first deal together, right, for Wholesale, so congrats on that. And just got a little steak together, so if you're in Dallas and you close a deal with us, maybe we'll take you dinner. I wanted to break this down, how much you've dove into marketing, funnels, getting leads, a lot of ways that other people in Wholesale don't even think about. And I think so much of us learned, like for me, it was just like brute force, grind, hustle. And you came so much from like knowing how to market, knowing how to do social media, and learning how to pivot it in a way that I've never really seen anyone do for Wholesale with just organic social media. And then also like SEO and these things that people have kind of heard about. So we'll dive into that and kind of how we got that deal and got it closed. We can break that down. But first of all, like background, high level, what did you start out? How did you even get into real estate?
Long before real estate, I mean, I feel like I tried so many different things. I feel like everybody wanted to be a rapper at one point in their life, or at least had that idea. Gave that a try in high school. You know, had my.
Oh, you're the SoundCloud guy?
Oh yeah, I was the SoundCloud guy and the Apple Music guy. But I had, people in high school, just gassing me up, thinking it was cool and maybe even a little funny or whatever. But then in college, decided I wanted to do. Now it's time to start making money. It's like I'm broke. What do? Well, I hear people are making money day trading, so I figured I'd get day trading a try. More like gambling. Lost a lot of money, made a lot of money, and then I actually got disciplined, and this is where I kind of first learned the value of a dollar and risk management and discipline and patience. Doing okay with that, wasn't great at it. I realized I didn't want to do that because I didn't like that I was shelling out so much risk just for the opportunity to maybe get a return.
With the day trading?
With day trading. I didn't like the fact that I was constantly having to risk something to get a proportional return. I'm like, I don't know if this is sustainable for me personally. I'd rather do something where it's like I can build something and make money from that and plant a seed and harvest the fruit. That's my metaphor, essentially.
You literally feel like you're putting it on black, because you actually have to buy the stock to sell it. You know what I mean?
You literally cannot make the proportional amount of money without putting the proportional amount of risk in. Anyways, that's a whole thing. So tried a bunch of different things, but along the way, I essentially got really good at one thing. And then there was one thing I was doing throughout all of that, and I was really honing in on my marketing, because when I was doing music, I was like, well, I have the song, how do I get people to listen to it? So I wanted people around school to hear it. I figured, let's post a video, let's get the word out, things like that, So that was my first introduction to marketing. Fast forward a few years, and I find myself kind of acting as performing as a social media manager for some of the biggest content creators on social media. My biggest client had 12 million followers on TikTok, and in that industry I kind of reached the ideal like I've reached kind of somewhere near the top. I'm like, I did it. I got the clients, I'm performing, I'm making money, but my goodness, this is a lot of work.
I'm actually curious too, before that, because we didn't really talk about this, you did some of the marketing for music. How did you actually get to the point of going to a big time client like that and be like, hey, I'm going to manage your social media, or you're off, or whatever it is that you're doing?
I think what happened is I had come across just another idea. I think it was, Alex Jensen and Sam Ovens were pushing Skool community groups and how you could make monthly recurring revenue from communities and whatever. And I had a couple communities like in Discord and stuff just for fun. So even though that's like casual stuff, I was again introduced to moderation and handling spam and just like the little things that probably all social media managers deal with on a daily basis. Very similar to real estate. If you were to get into growth operating, they call it other things like social media agency or whatever. I understand it as growth operating. operating. They typically tell you, okay, if you want to go get your first client, you need to send 100 cold DMs on Instagram. You need to find those influencers on Instagram who fit the criteria, like they have a following, but they don't have an offer.
I get a million of those DMs.
Hey, exactly. So you understand. They go out and they say, hey, I want to build you an offer and I'll work on commission or a retainer or whatever. When you get into that industry, the common like textbook thing is you need to do cold outreach, cold stuff. I was like, well, I know a thing or two about social media. I don't really feel like DMing a lot of people just to like beg. I don't want to beg people to work for them. Not that I'm above that, I just didn't like the way that felt. And so I said, here's what I'm gonna do instead. I'm gonna start a brand new Instagram where I'm offering my services through this content. Are you a content creator with over 10,000 followers who wants to make more money from monetizing your audience? My name is Nathan, and here's what I can do for you. That's how I got my clients. All 3 of my biggest clients. I had a 12 million follower creator, a 6.7 million follower creator, and I think a 20,000 subscriber day trader, right? Those were some of my 3 most successful clients. And that's how I got all of them, through organic inbound content. I started a whole page to promote my social media services through social media, through organic social media. So I was showing, the proof was in the pudding. It's like, let me handle your social media marketing, because that's exactly what I'm doing right now. That's how you saw this video in the first place.
Yeah, it wasn't an ad, which is crazy because it's like the way you pitch that sounds like it would be an ad. But I guess it's like the algorithm is so, especially for those new pages, I don't know all about it, but it's like it found the people that literally you were looking for just by saying what you were.
And what you just said right there is so powerful, because it applies to social media across the board. Like real estate, door to door, well, maybe not door to door, but the services that you're providing door to door. I don't care if you're a plumber, an electrician, or whatever. If you post something organically, you have to remember that these titans that are the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, it's their job, it's their entire business model to make sure that people see your post. So if you're telling these social media platforms what your post is about and what all of your posts are about, it is designed, the algorithms are designed to show that to who you're trying to target. So if all you post about are you a single mom in El Paso, Texas, who's looking for a great Pilates studio, it's gonna know eventually, after 5 posts, that this is intended for single moms, specifically in El Paso, that are looking for a Pilates studio.
Yeah.
And you could have no customers. You could be opening next week, but have your followers be ready for the grand opening because it was free traffic. And real estate, getting clients for your agency, it all works the same. I tell people, like, if I decided to be an electrician tomorrow, I would know how to get electrician jobs in the city. You know what I mean? With no experience. Not because I'm a great electrician, but because I know how to. Which
is cool, because that's a lot of service-based business people do it, or just knowing how to run an ad too. Like a lot of people started with that, but they're like, oh, I know how to run Facebook ads, or I know how to run whatever, but that costs money too. So it's like, that's why organic is pretty cool. But yeah, so that's how you start. That's cool. So you basically created the social media, found the clients, which is big because you probably didn't have, I mean, how many followers did you have?
None. I remember this. I remember other growth operators who were trying to get their first client. I was already on number 3, right? They were just trying to get like their first 10,000 follower client. How did you get these clients? I posted about it. I posted my services and they came to me. 2 of those 3 clients, I didn't know they existed before they came to me.
Yeah.
So there I am. I'm going about my day. I get a new email. Oh, I got a new submission. So-and-so requested an application or submitted an application. I checked their socials. I'm like, 12 million followers. I was like, goodness gracious. Or 6.7 million followers. And that's because all of my organic content was not buy my course. It wasn't here's tips and tricks on social media. Maybe there was a couple of those. It was all one message. It's like, are you a content creator with over 10,000 followers and you want to make more money? It's not about the followers. It's not about the likes. If your goal is to make money through social media, if that's your goal,
you target,
that's who you target. You target your customer. You target your audience. So with that same philosophy, I learned about wholesaling real estate, and here I am juggling all this work for these clients and always having to report to them on a daily basis. Yeah, it's working, but I'm like, okay, I'm building someone else's brand to make a percentage of pretty much 100% of my work. See what I'm saying? And I was like, there's got to be a better way to where I can do the same amount of effort with a higher return. And I knew that, well, real estate is probably a super high ticket industry just in general. And I was like, what if I did this for real estate.
Were you getting all the guru stuff about wholesaling, or how'd you learn?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just like a lot of people, they saw the big fat commission checks or whatever, or the big deposits in their bank account, and I said, that sounds nice. And then of course I naturally learned 101, cold calling, what to say to a seller, what earnest money deposit is. So now at this point I'm pretty much caught up to speed as far as the typical amateur. They know how it works. Now let's go get a deal done. Oh, but now I got to cold call hundreds, at least 100 people a day. I got to pull these lists. I got to spend money to pull these lists or filter or pick a software. You're spending money. And then I was like, wait a minute, what did I do in the last industry when everyone else was told to cold DM, perfect your outreach script? I said, what if I just made content so I could have business come to me? Same philosophy, completely different industry. Thus, Dallas Homes for Cash was made. And as you saw, Ben, or maybe you can attest, I saw a gap to fill. I saw a lot of people spending money on ads. They know how to do that because anybody can, do that. And but I didn't see a whole lot of organic content that wasn't coming from real estate agents. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And especially local to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I was like, well, that's less competition.
Yeah, which is crazy because it's such a big market, but all the big players dump thousands and thousands of dollars into Google ads. They're paying for Google ads because they know, okay, there is a system to it, right? It's like, oh, okay, I know if I spend $7,000, I'm going to get X amount of leads and I'll close this many deals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like nice because you can look at the ROI, but it's just high cost. Planting the seed is like, yes, it's going to take longer. You got to make the content, but it's so cool because I remember when you met at the real estate meetup, I think you found us in our school group, but you met there and you're like, yeah, I'm making organic content for wholesale. And I was like, dude, I literally was like this, like, what? And I was like thinking about it, I was like, I don't know there's no way that works. Like, that was honestly my first initial reaction, but I'm like, I guess I could tell you knew way more about social media. And I was like, I post for just what we're doing, but it is interesting now to see how one post, we can get into that, but how one post gets millions of views and then grows thousands of followers.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. Before I get ahead of myself, I don't want to sound like I'm great at everything or I'm too big. I don't want to sound big-headed. Let me say this. I can speak confidently on marketing and social media, and especially organic social media, and maybe even a little bit of SEO, but that doesn't mean I'm great at everything. So that's why I rely on the resources necessary to rely on REI Closers and Ben and Alex and them, which was really cool, and we can get into that as well. But like you said, it's like, organic content to generate motivated seller leads. The same leads that people pay hundreds of dollars for on pay-per-lead sites, Speed the Lead or Zolo or whatever. It's like, really? So you're just going to get these leads for free, the same leads that we have to grind for. And it's like, well, nobody else is. I'm not seeing a lot of people try. I'm not seeing a lot of people try. I'm confident that I could tell, maybe there's somebody watching this right now that maybe wants to give it a try. Because if they're anything like me and I was starting out, I had some capital, but I can't just be, buying ads like the big dogs. And I also maybe don't really feel like I'm in a position where I want or can really grind out 100, 200 cold calls a day and be told to F off and why are you calling me?
Or paying for ads too. I tell people this that are even 1 to 6 months in, and they have barely closed any deals. Paying for ads, Facebook, Google, is the worst thing you can do because those are actually high quality leads, and now you don't know how to close it.
Right.
You don't know how to go from okay, they didn't accept my cash offer. I don't really have good sales skills. Well, I could have closed it as a novation or subject to, but I don't even know what that is. So it's I just am throwing money down the drain unless you're just going to immediately put a partner on or someone like us that can lock it down, which some people do. But then it's okay, probably shouldn't be spending ads until I really know how to run the system of closing the deal.
Exactly right. And like I said, I knew that in this funnel, or I guess this pipeline, the first thing you need is a motivated seller lead, right? Once I get leads coming in, then I can naturally figure out what I want to do with them. Do I hand them off to REI Closers? Do I try to close it myself? But I just knew that I needed to get leads, right? And there's all the ways that they tell you: cold call, pay for it, buy the ads, get a virtual assistant, which again, you shouldn't go door knock, right? Or you shouldn't really be getting a virtual assistant if you don't know exactly what to be looking for, right? But again, I just knew I needed leads, and I knew how to get leads before in a different industry, and I said, I will just do that, and I don't care how long it takes. Let me be clear, if you're not going to spend money, on the ads, I was not in a rush. I fully embraced, I'm going to make organic content content. I'm not really like looking to do anything by a certain time. I don't need to close a deal in order to eat this month.
Or like I need to get out of my W-2 job. Like it's like a blessing and a curse, which we haven't talked about, but it's like you have a good job that gives you the time,
job,
but it gives you the time and freedom to be able to do this and create this like seed that you're planting.
Yeah, so not being in a rush allowed me to just be level-headed throughout the whole thing, and it allowed me to not be nervous or feel like I have to do something, which could honestly block creativity. You know what I mean? I was telling you before we started filming, like if I have an idea right now, I can do it. Like I can just record it, and I know I've been doing it so long that I know what the post is going to look like in the end before I even edit it. You know what I mean? I can just do it.
That's cool. Like I kind of want to look at to broad, like bring this back. So like marketer, growth operator, as you call it, knowing how to really do organic stuff, which is cool. Especially taking like a blank page, something that has no followers.
Yes.
And creating letting the algorithm do its thing, but doing that now with, okay, how do I get motivated seller leads, which is essentially like what you would see on a Facebook ad or a Google or an Instagram ad, right? Of, hey, you want to sell your house, but usually that's a paid ad. So now you're creating some sort of organic post to get these people to funnel into the site in your bio or a DM word that's going to essentially send them to a page where they're going to fill out their info, put their address, and tell us a little bit about the house. So I guess when you started it, and I've seen some of the posts that blown up, which is cool. How did you go about, okay, how am I going to create this content to get these motivated sellers?
When you're first starting off, if any of you are thinking of trying this for yourself, or at least planting the seeds early on, you want to get your reps in to where you're just covering the basics. You as far as your messages in these videos, what your video concepts are about. So your first 9 posts can be the typical: we buy houses, no showings, no repairs, no realtor commissions. Just focus on that being your message, right? Because now you at least have somewhat full profile there, so when people stumble upon it, it's good to go. I think what you're alluding to is kind of like what I've been doing lately that has been performing very well. Is I'm taking a step just outside of that niche. Like we're still in this niche of home owners in Texas, right? The core is like home sellers in Texas. But I'm branching out just a little bit to where I'm talking about relevant local real estate that applies to anybody, specifically Texas homeowners. A lot of times with ads, even if you're targeting it, you're kind of targeting those motivated search terms: how to sell a house fast, whatever. There's no way to detect the people that are just casual homeowners that have been thinking about selling, but they haven't searched anything yet. So now if you want to try to take a step out of that organically, in theory, from what I understand, or from what I'm practicing myself, is I'm making content that is relevant to the local real estate market, and then coming in at the end of it saying like, by the way, this is, for example, I'll be talking about crazy like headline news. Some guy in Toronto, some guy took out a $300,000 mortgage for a deposit on an $800,000 condo, didn't close, so now he's paying a $300,000 mortgage on something he doesn't own. What? That's shock value. That's crazy. This reminds me about that time I was talking to one seller in the Dallas market. What? You see what I just did there? I took a
shocking
a piece of content that would apply to anybody, that anybody would find entertaining or at least somewhat like, what? And then, and I guess it's free traffic. It's free impressions. And that's exactly what I did with this one in Frisco, Texas.
Which is the one that kind of hit pretty big, right? It was like 1 million views on So it's pretty, and it's funny because we'll show this too, because I took a little bit of what you're doing and put it into how our funnel is right now, and even with the texting laws and all these changes, it's something that I think will I'm curious to see how it'll really play out, but increase the lead flow and get those people that are outside of the bubble of maybe I'll sell my house super fast right now. It's like, okay, who are the leads I'm going to get in 4 to 6 months?
Yeah, so I believe the one you're referring to is the video I posted on Instagram and TikTok. On TikTok, it did 300,000 views. Currently on Instagram at 1.1 million views. This is also the video that took my business account, the real estate profile, from a measly 100 followers to now almost 3,000 followers from one video. Now, I'm not saying that was the only video I posted, because by the time I posted it, it was about maybe the 16th, 17th, 18th post. But I knew there's no way I could have expected or predicted that would be the video to blow up. It was just, as a matter of fact, I think my first post, I tried really, really hard, and it did 10 likes or 2 likes maybe, whatever. And that one was local, and it had great production, and I was in multiple different areas all around Frisco, high energy. The one that blew up, 1 million something views and 3,000 followers later, was the one where I'm in my bedroom, backwards hat, not even in uniform, and I'm showing the Zillow map, and I'm giving my opinion. And I'm not holding back either. I'm like, I'm sure your house is nice, but so are all of these. You know, get in line because there's
basically
a lot.
You're just saying all these houses are listed for sale.
Basically, that's all I'm saying.
But you kind of called out like Frisco homeowners, like there's
there's an inventory issue which is related to price. That's basically what I was saying, and that video resonated with a lot of people. And here's why I think it resonated. And I think this might be really good advice for someone who's also trying to do organic, like motivated seller stuff, and is just trying to build a brand from nothing. Mm-hmm. What I found from that video and videos like it is that not being a licensed realtor allows me the opportunity to say something without limits.
Yeah, that's like anytime you're a wholesaler, some people are like, I want to get licensed. I'm like, dude, honestly, I kind of there's pros and cons. You can list the house, whatever, but like, you can say whatever. We're not under this like TREC law or whatever the agents are. And
what had happened is a lot of people on all sides of a real estate deal could resonate and they agree with it. We're talking about buyers in Texas, sellers in Texas, realtors in Texas saw that video and was like, finally, someone said it. I don't want to show a house if a seller's going to be crazy about their listing price and not listen to me. Realtors got a hold of it. Mortgage loan officers got a hold of it.
One of the highest views is it because it's share worthy.
Yes.
So, agents could share that.
Yes.
Investors could share that. Their mom or whoever was sharing it to their family member.
There were, I think, 2 OnlyFans models who shared it, like with crazy followings. But like you said, there were trusted, credible local experts who were, by sharing the post, they were basically co-signing what I'm saying in that video. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would click on view story reshares, and I'm clicking on the blue check marks. Who has all the blue check marks? I'm clicking on them. 67,000 followers. Dallas, Texas realtor, helping people get whatever, and they have their own content going on. That means that video, organic, 100 to 3,000 followers. Of course, it brought in more leads, but now watch this. $0 later, I could stop right now and I could start again tomorrow, and the 3,000 followers are still there. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Unlike an ad, where the ad budget is depleted, it's over. The campaign is over, and if you want to do it again, spend again. But but the benefit of organic stuff and doing this slowly but organically, now I post something again, that's 3,000 followers out the gate. Of quality followers who followed me specifically for real estate content, local Dallas real estate content.
Right.
And that's huge. You can't even buy that, because if you tried buying that, it's like buying a business.
Kind of like having the domain, right? Like people can sell a domain because it's sitting there on the site that's bringing in a bunch of leads.
If there's any, and I say this as a beginner, I still believe I'm a beginner because I'm like only a deal in, right?
Yeah.
Not a beginner marketer, but a beginner as far as real estate. If you're anything like me and you got a good grasp on how this whole wholesaling thing works, and you realize what it usually takes to make one deal happen, my philosophy starting out was like, well, if this is what I'm going to do, I might as well start now. 0 followers, 0 posts. When I was creating the account, when I was getting the domain, I was like, well, if I'm going to do this for the long term, I might as well start now if I see myself having this brand. And and that was 7 months ago.
Yeah. So first deal, 7 months in?
I guess so. I guess, yeah, you could say that. Now, of course, results may vary because there were plenty of leads before that.
Yeah.
Good quality leads.
Yeah, maybe didn't have the tools with
all of them, off market, or maybe they just, weren't super motivated or whatever. It could be 100 things, that, but the leads were coming in before I was number 1 on Google and before I was in ChatGPT, and there was leads.
There's just other stuff we talk about, but that's cool. And the concept of all of it, because then it's like you do have the people that maybe do have the money, or they're in sales, they know how to close. It's like, okay, I can just go generate the leads, whether it be door knocking, texting, cold calling, whatever. And you could probably get to it a little faster, but at the same time, it's like oftentimes it's what happens in wholesale and people in real estate is like they don't realize either it takes time to learn the language, generate leads, and actually make enough offers to get a deal closed. And like, it's cool to hear this model just because I don't know anyone else that's done it that way. But because you've now created that page, that like kind of re-registered in my head too, is now those people are sitting there. I think of it like people almost that have opted into like an email sequence, right? It's like
want to see more.
Anything else, now they're getting the next content. So like for us with all these new texting laws, that's kind of what I was retargeting. Is like, okay, here's a fact-based thing. This many people are selling off market. Yeah. And here's this funnel that's bringing it to our trusted page. But they said yes, so now they've opted in. They're going to get all of our emails. They're going to get our texts. And so now we're creating like a follower email list of like people that are interested about selling off market versus like, hey, want to sell your house? And they're like, who are you? You know what I mean?
Right.
And which we used to be afraid of. But now with the new laws, we're like, dude, we're telling them who we are. We're bringing them to our page. It's almost acting as a Facebook Facebook ad, but instead of them seeing the ad, they're getting a text of like, 175,000 people sold off market in 2024. See how our company is helping, and we've stated who we are.
Yes.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, we're allowing you to opt out, but like, by the way, you'd probably want to see this, right?
Yes. You're speaking on a really huge benefit that not everyone gets to experience when it comes to inbound stuff. And when people know you already because of content, or they checked out your website, for example, even on a smaller level, they checked out your website already. Now they have a feeling like, okay, I got to know them before I had to reveal anything about me. And that there's a lot of confidence from the consumer that's built into that. So when my social is like all me, confidently putting myself out there for all, I'm just like, here I am, you know what I mean? This is what we do. It almost gives the viewer a chance it gives them like a one-way pass to trust me before they have to reveal anything about themselves, their name, their address,
they need to sell quick.
Compared to a cold call, it's like, man, you gotta like really, and there's some killer cold callers. I know that there's great cold callers that can make somebody's day over the phone, but I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not that kind of guy.
You might be, but
I have strengths and weaknesses, and my strength kind of naturally unfolded to where here I am, this is what we do, and it kind of lets people feel like, and it meets them where they're at. They're already scrolling, they're comfortable. Oh, and you know how content goes. You'll just be right here, and you're like, 4 videos later, you feel like you already have a sense of who I am and what we're doing. More so than the next guy who sent you direct mail of a fake check, $40,000 offer, and then you call them, and it's like, well.
Yeah, that's crazy. People do that, but it is getting. Especially on the leads, we created that with like the texting thing I was talking about. Since the laws have changed, I'm super excited about, just because it makes you get creative in ways that you don't even think. Like, we used to just blast text and say you want to get an offer, and now it's like they go to our page, they trust us, they see our testimonies. Now they can get emails. The same thing with our Facebook ad is like they click on it. Yeah, we're paying for an ad, but Facebook is less than what we're doing with Google. But now the ad is literally showing how we help the homeowner sell their house quick. They go to our page. It's a video of me explaining my process, all the seller testimonies, frequently asked questions. So like by the time they talk to us, they already know who I am. They know we're going to call them. They know we've worked with other people. Like, that's a way different conversation than the cold outreach, or even the person that just said, get a cash offer for your house, and they give you the form. Oh, cool, this person wants to sell. They don't know who you are, though, so now you got to build all the trust. You can't tell them about the testimonies they didn't see. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you got to educate them on all this, and then you're a whole step behind. So it's like, if they trust you, they see you, and they know who you are.
Oh my gosh.
By the time they hop on their phone, they're like, I
want to speak to 2 different kinds of people here. There's people who have experience. They've done this. They're good at their business. They just really are very intimidated by social media marketing, and so then they don't do it. They have an advantage because they've actually had success stories already. They already have customers. I'm like, dude, you have content right there. Talk about how you helped Claudia with her plumbing issue or whatever, or helped you get out of that. That's the whole thing. Tell the story. And then there's going to be beginners. Well, how could I possibly make content? I don't have a deal yet. I just got that deal. I was doing the organic stuff before I had the deal. The opposite of imposter syndrome. Like, if you're going to build a brand, like, own it. Even if you haven't done the service yet, I encourage people to tell them that you do that. Even if you're a contractor and you haven't had a job, say what you can do. You
have to tell everyone that you are. It's like when we're talking to door-to-door people on the door, they come across every single person in their neighborhood. They know exactly who wants to sell, who has got rid of it, but like, you never tell them that you can buy houses or that you have a partner that can buy a house cash. So it's like, you're never going to get a deal if people don't tell you are. It's like if you're the big solar salesman in the neighborhood and you don't ever talk about it, like, no one's going to know that you have solar. Why are they going to reach out to you? Or that you can give them solar. So like, telling people what you do is like the most important thing.
Yeah, I couldn't recommend it enough. As far as if you decide to do the wholesale thing or social media for any local service business, anything really, I can't recommend the importance enough. I feel like me and only a small group of people truly understand how powerful and how impactful just social media or organic social media can be. Maybe like me and Gary Vee, probably under
the only one.
No, I'm sure there's other people, but I'm saying don't listen to me. Listen to people. He's run ads and content for all the big top Fortune 500 companies and all that stuff because he gets it. And that's kind of who I adopted the philosophy too from. It's like, it's really, really powerful. There's just so many benefits to having this asset that is this social media profile.
Yeah, that's why people always talk about right now, build your brand. It's like, now you have this following of like, they're just doing whatever. They like you and they trust you because of the content you're posting. So it's like, I have this ecosystem that I can do whatever with. Yeah. But I do want to get to this deal real quick too, because I know it's cool like hearing all this breakdown. So This one's funny because I know you've gotten leads in from the Instagram. You're doing the organic content.
Yes.
This one actually came from SEO, which we don't have to dive too deep on, but you basically got Dallas Homes for Cash.
Yes.
And you got the DBA, Sell My House Fast.
Yes.
Dallas.
Yes.
So your site shows all this. So now anytime someone searches it on Google, they see your page, right? Obviously there's the sponsored people that are paying for the ads, and then there's the SEO ones, which are kind of just like top.
Yeah, what we call
right?
a map pack, I acquired DallasHomesForCash.com, which to my surprise was available. I'm like, nobody got this? I tried, DallasHomebuyers.com or SellMyHouseFastDallas.com. Of course, those were taken. I just moved the words around. I was like, okay, DallasHomesForCash.com, available. $10, it's mine, and I have the right to renew it forever if I want to, for like $10 a year.
Yeah.
It's $10, DallasHomesForCash.com. And then went and got a DBA, LegalZoom, done for you, $99. So it's my LLC doing business as Dallas Homes for Cash, but not just Dallas Homes for Cash. The DBA is literally Dallas Homes for Cash, vertical line, Sell My House Fast Dallas. The reason for that, a little SEO trick, is that when people search Sell My House Fast Dallas, it's literally in the name. It's like a restaurant saying Asian food near me. It's like if they name their restaurant Asian Food Near Me, they're going to pop up because that's their literal name.
That's a great idea.
You see what I'm saying? So my DBA is, I have both. I have Dallas Homes for Cash, and then I have Dallas Homes for Cash, Sell My House Fast Dallas. Well, the emphasis on that last one is now whenever I go to Google, my Google business profile, and it says, that's my name, there's no appeal against that. There's no,
I can put this in.
They can't say, oh, you're it's unethical, it's deceptive. It's like, no, that's my business name. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, and I can submit the registration papers, and that's really what it is. There's all kinds of other tricks that you can do to rank super, super fast. And that's the thing, you don't even have to be the highest nationwide. You just have to be
local,
You just have to do this much more than the top people in the city, which, to be honest, they say DFW is a tough market, but when it comes to the organic side of things, nobody's paying attention to it, which is why I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna shoot for it. But back to the deal, yes. Through just little consistent efforts with the website and keywords and little tips and tricks like that, I was able to rank fairly quickly for some of the top search terms on Google from motivated sellers in the Dallas area.
And so I want to hear the story real quick to this deal. So you got that up and going. I remember I literally met you at the office that you had to like pay for to get the Google stuff going or whatever. But
yes.
Which is they want to see you actually have an office, that you have some business. But anyways, so you finally get a lead in, or maybe you had some leads come in, but you remember you were like driving, you're at a gas station. You're like, oh shoot, like this person just acquired on my Google site. Like, oh crap, what number lead was this on the site?
What number lead?
Like, was this the first lead?
Oh, no. Okay, it was like maybe number 9 or 10.
Okay.
Maybe 9 or like, in other words, 9 leads have already came in successfully from Google. They fall out, whatever. They're not motivated enough, whatever. But I'm coming back from Oklahoma, and I'm stopping at a Buc-ee's, and I'm in Buc-ee's. I'm by myself, and I'm grabbing a brisket sandwich and a fountain drink, and I'm out in the Buc-ee's parking lot. Phone rings, hands are full. And I have my Google Voice number saved to where it's like I know it's somebody calling the company. Dallas Homes for Cash, Nathan speaking. Yes, I'd like to sell my house. And I'm like, I hop in the truck. I'm like, yeah, put on the CarPlay. And I basically am doing the vetting process, motivation, timeline, condition, asking price. And long story short, woman in Coppell, Texas, owned a house. And she tried listing it. Well, she had a tenant in there, but now it's vacant. Mm-hmm. So now, the whole time that nobody's living in there, she's bleeding cash because she didn't live there. And then she's basically telling me that she tried listing it twice with a realtor, which means she went the traditional route twice, could not sell at the price that she wanted, right? Not to mention that if she did sell it, she would have to pay realtor commissions, deal with showings. She didn't want to deal with showings because, again, she wanted to be there for most of it. Mm-hmm. So she ultimately, what does she do? She Googles something to the nature of Sell My House Fast, and we popped up, and we were the first, and she called us, and right then and there, like I said, I vetted it, and I turned it over to one of our team members, one of your team members on
it was Peter that ended up taking the phone call, but
there you go.
He goes into our lead form, and we're just like, anyone that JVs with us that needs help closing a deal, they're welcome to submit leads to us, but Yeah, we knew you'd been working some some of those ads too. So we always try to call it within that's the biggest thing with any of these, like any lead in general, is just speed to the lead.
Speed to lead, that's huge. And that's exactly why I didn't even leave the parking lot until that lead was in y'all's hands. So I didn't finish my sandwich. I didn't finish the brisket sandwich before I had, organized the notes, kind of had AI rewrite it to where it was clear what this lead is, and then submitted it over to the REI Closers, and and then they took it from there. You see what I'm saying? That was really cool, unique model that I find myself in, which I'm sure is possible for other starter wholesalers and investors, or anyone going door to door. If you have a lead, whether it be from SEO like I'm doing or social media, but even if you have somebody who gave you
anyone. Peter talks to her. We kind of qualified the lead. We ended up going over there. She was kind of battling. Obviously, she kind of wanted a little bit too much money than a typical lead because she's willing to list it before. Yeah. The house is a nice house.
Yes,
right? It doesn't need almost any work. It's just a little outdated. And so it's kind of that teetering line of can we make this price work? We get her under contract at just above the other offers she had.
Yeah, there were other, I believe if I'm tracking correctly, there were other investors that showed up. She was doing a group showing.
Which is almost never a good sign. Every time I see that, I'm like, damn, this is not going to be good. We're not probably going to come in at a price that unless they're all coming in low, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We have good buyers, we have these different systems, but it's kind of hard. If you're showing it to 5 other investors, someone's either going to try and offer more or they're maybe lying,
just to get her, to get it down. But ultimately it worked out because we were the ones who got it. And it's cool because I would have gone, but I think on the date that she had requested the group showing, I couldn't have been there. But luckily, I could rely on Peter to head down there and lock that up, get it under contract. Armando was able to
we found the buyer. It was actually taking a while because the same thing. It was the house was big. It was a nice area. It's kind of that weird line of is the after repair value anywhere from 800 to $1 million, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she wants 670.
I on paper I was this is a crazy deal if you locked it up anywhere below a certain threshold. And because I was looking at comps, I was this is a good deal.
It would have been a perfect honestly Wholesale or Novation, right? But she wanted to sell it now. She's already listed it. The market's kind of weird, especially for that high price point. And so it's doesn't really need much work. We have it at 670, was it? Under contract, 671?
Yeah, it was around there. Yep.
And we only ended up getting and they say it's cool just because proof of concept and everything was an $8,000 wholesale deal. So it's nothing crazy, but if you would have maybe closed on it and just put on the market, you'd think it would sell around 800.
You would think.
The holding costs.
Oh man, yeah.
And then you got commissions to realtor. So it's it is a lot for that type of size of property too that's going to come out of it. So for her, that's why she was willing to realize, okay, I'll just take this. And really just finding the right buyer for it. It's okay, well now you find the unique person that's willing to put that real good stuff into it to sell it for $1 million, and that's that type of buyer, but kind of risky honestly, because the market goes a certain way and it sits there for long, your holding costs are super high, and that's a hard deal to get sold sometimes.
Yeah, but here's the deal, it's if I just said, no, it's too hard of a market to crack, there's no way I could rank number 1 on Google if we have all these other companies, open door, whatever, Houseo, and even the local competitors, it's oh, they're already ranking, they've been doing this for years, there's no way I could beat them. I encourage you to kind of not be so quick to assume that the people at the top are just there because they're consistently crushing it. Some of them are because they're staying updated, but I took a look from an SEO and an organic lens at who are the top dogs, and I'm well, all I got to do is that and just a little bit more. Yeah. And it's because of that she called me and not the next listing.
And to that same point, to finally follow this up, is everyone asks that question, is this saturated? Is it saturated? Dude, not only, it's not even that you have to be just above the top dogs. It's literally you just got to be consistent, and it's an abundance mentality of there are so many people that need to sell their house. There's so many people in DFW, all across Texas, whatever market you're in, Arizona, Oklahoma, I don't even care where it is. There's so many different people, and really it's just about building connection with someone and building trust. If they know that you've done it and you make them an offer, they probably, if they're motivated, they probably just want to sell it there. They're not going to go search 15 other people because they saw one that has 10 more reviews than you. You know what I mean? That's just not the reality. Sometimes you'll get that person oh, I want to see this and this, I want this contract. Those people just suck, and it's really you're probably not going to get the deal anyways. Versus dude, we we're not the biggest company at all, but we do a ton of deals, and it's like we're just consistent in texting, ads, posting, like networking, like we're just consistent with it. Same thing goes from door to door guys. A lot of people that listen to this, like they're usually the 10th person knocking on a person's door. Yeah. Everyone's tried to sell them solar, pest, alarms, but you still sell. You don't stop selling.
Gosh, bro, the way I'm programmed, I just have an itch to know, like, I would right now think of 10 posts to create for specifically solar. Like I would,
if you were doing that.
Like I said, if I was doing solar, which I don't, I would know, like, okay, if I wanted to start right now, I would probably create a whole new Instagram page, 0 followers, TikTok, 0 followers, and just start posting about, literally do the pitch that you do when they open the door on camera and then post that.
You would get I want to see someone do this just for the comments, because I sold solar too, but like there's so much love-hate people that would just be like, this is a scam.
That's fine.
Which is funny, but then it's like there's going to be other people, to your point, that don't think it's a scam. They're going to fight them in the comments for you, and you could say nothing, and then it's just like, hey, like, you should probably at least get a quote.
And then let's say somebody does that, oh, solar's a scam. You hit the little reply with video button, and now you have your next idea for the next post, and now you're going to explain, a lot of people think that solar is a scam, but here are the 3 reasons why you should honestly consider it. As somebody who's a solar expert in the Dallas or the El Paso or the Alabama community, like, come on, it's honestly plug and play, and I really encourage beginners and established local service businesses alike to really, really wrap their head around the idea of what could possibly happen if you actually even had a decent organic following, or you just tightened up on organic content just a little bit, to where if it just meant one more deal or one more job, would it be worth?
What does it cost of that? I think that's the biggest thing to close it out that really clicked in my head when you said that is I now have 3,000 people that have already basically opted in. Like that's where I think a lot of people, you think of as email list, CRM, all that. But a page is really an asset because these people have already opted in to follow you, so they're gonna get whatever you post.
To follow a local service business, mind you. That's why you see, some of those restaurant owners who blow up because they're funny or whatever, and they get diners or patrons even regardless of what the food is like. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they blew up on whatever, the Salt Bay guy. Yeah. It's like everybody wants to go there. We don't even know if that steak is like actually good. You know what I mean? But local service businesses are no different. And now it's like not bragging, but it's only up from here. It's like 3,000 followers, 1 million viral video, whatever. And now anybody who comes across my page, now it's a whole different impression. Oh, 3,000 followers. Oh, bio says we buy houses and blah blah blah. Oh, he's got 1 million. Yeah, exactly. This guy must. There's a little bit of impression. You still feel free to think what you want, but now there's a little bit more inclination. There must be a reason why he has, you know what I'm saying? Oh, like just like that. But 2 months ago, I was at 100 followers and 30,000 total views, Right. You never know. You never know what it'll be. And all of a sudden you look back and you're like, now you're suddenly who you said you were. Yeah. I'm speaking to myself. Now all of a sudden it's like, I guess I'm a real estate investor now because I just decided I was going to do that. Yeah.
Keep the Dallas Homes for Cash shirt on everywhere. Yeah. Put the link on the shirt, QR code.
Come on. I'm just like everything. So I have like all kinds of ideas that I'm looking to implement and to kind of grow and mix a little bit of humor here. And I'm excited about how I'm going to do that.
So where can, to wrap this up too, where can someone follow you? Is it just Dallas Homes for Cash?
Dallas Homes for Cash. Don't even consider me Nathan. Consider me Dallas Homes for Cash, and because that's what it is. So Instagram, TikTok, probably YouTube here shortly. There we go. Yeah, so whether you're a real estate professional or you're looking to sell your house fast in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, or you just like good local real estate content, feel free to tune in.
Or you just learn. I like watching people's ads and videos and stuff.
Or just learn.
I just okay, here's what worked, this hook worked, or this whatever. But I appreciate you coming on. That's something we don't really talk about a lot, so it's cool to hear like the different strategies and everything. And if you want to follow Nate, again, for his page, Dallas Homes for Cash, thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.